بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم. Was the Mahdi born, or is he yet to come into this world? And if he was born, then what evidence do we have to show for it? Because I find it truly embarrassing and farcical that after all this time, after believing in so many things that the Quran has given us, there are still people out there who are debating whether or not someone can live for over 1,000 years. Seriously? After the Quranic report about Prophet Nuh, that's still something that's difficult for us to digest. After Jesus being raised into the heavens, after Prophet Daniel and other prophets and messengers of God, after Prophet Khidr, for instance, we're still struggling with the notion of God's ability to keep someone alive for an extended period of time, longer than the average human lifespan. I mean, it is embarrassing and it needs to stop. But again, on a more fundamental level, what evidence do we have that the Imam was in fact born? Number one, we have the authenticated report of the Imam's own aunt, Lady Hakima, a righteous, pious, respected woman of the Ahlul Bayt, a member of the household of purity and infallibility, whose reports have been validated and authenticated. She says, and in exact and full detail, how he was born, how he came into this world. And so that's something that should be taken into account. Number two, there's also the report of the khadim of Imam al-Hasan al-Askari, meaning the butler, the servant, the equivalent of today's chief of staff, if you like. He also provides a very detailed report about the Imam's birth, about the events that transpired on that very critical night. And so that's important. That's worth a lot. Imagine the chief of staff of the President of the United States writing a tell-all book, as they usually do, talking about the details of what happens in the hallways of the White House. People take that seriously because that is a credible witness. Number three, there is the fact that Imam al-Hasan al-Askari used to introduce his representatives and his deputies in various cities and towns and so forth, who would visit him, to his son, and he would say that this will be my successor, my heir. And there's plenty of evidence for that. In fact, the other additional piece of evidence is what Ayatollah, the late Grand Ayatollah Sheikh Safi Gulpaygani, may Allah bless his soul, mentions in his book Muntakhab al-Athar fi Ahwal al-Imam al-Thani Ashara, a highly recommended book if you're looking for these details. He says in that book that there are over 100 reports that state that Imam al-Mahdi is the son of Imam al-Hasan al-Askari, who is the son of Imam Ali al-Hadi, who is the son of Imam Muhammad al-Jawad, and so on and so forth. So given that we know he is his direct son, then it surely proves that he was in fact born, because we know Imam al-Hasan al-Askari was killed and martyred. And finally, the report about Imam al-Mahdi leading the prayers on his father's body. Everyone witnessed this. Everyone saw how a 5-year-old child came out and he swept aside, he pushed aside his uncle Ja'far, and he led the prayers before then disappearing. So, was he born? Without a shred of doubt. May Allah hasten his reappearance.